out those pills. You don't have to go to the edge of death for cheap thrills. Forget about all those people you need to kill. Sit down and listen to our show. Small Talking, Big Thoughts with Matt and John. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Matt and John's our first official podcast. Small Talk, Big Thoughts. You may remember me. I'm John Farello. I'm formerly the Answer Man. I used to be on the Burnham Dodge Art Hour and Big Talk from Buffalo. And introducing Matthew Austin.
Hi.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going? Uncle John, how are you?
That's another amazing coincidence. Matt's mom is my sister.
Wow, what are the chances?
I
Is it
know.
just we would start a podcast together or just happen to be related?
I know, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's we're in the same family group here.
Same genetics, almost.
Same genetics.
I have half of your genetics. I hope.
You have the nephew part of my genetics. And, okay, a little bit about us. We got all sorts of, we're Irish-Italian.
We are?
We got some Greek in us. Turkish, according to the gene thing.
My mom's 2% Eastern European Jew, according to her ancestry.
A little bit, enough to make fun.
Enough to get away with telling jokes.
Yeah, telling jokes, yeah. But we won't go down there like crazy all the time, you know. But so we decided we needed a new show here in Buffalo, you know, something fresh. And we've been talking about this a long time.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like we just never really did it.
We're just like talked about it. If you have a good idea, you have to thoroughly talk about it.
Yeah.
You got to talk about talking about it.
Yeah.
Then you talk about it, and then you actually maybe talk about doing it, and then you do it.
Yeah. And then it was this. I happened to come in. Oh, Kenny, our buddy Kenny, gave me a call. It's like, oh, can you come in? And I'm like, this will be our chance. I'll get Matt in there. I say, Matt, we're going to do a show. Come in. And we did a show with Kenny Morgan, and we were like, okay, this is what it's like to do a podcast. You know, and luckily we have Richard Wicca, a great guy, you know, being our director, our
center, our studio. This is an awesome space.
This is his studio.
I had no idea this even existed, but it's such a cool kind of service that he offers to people out there.
Richard Wicca, if you don't know him, he's a lot like Batman in that, well, he is a lot like Batman, but he has his own studio, and he offers it to the public.
Anybody can start a podcast. I mean, they're letting us on the airwaves. We have literally no qualifications.
That's right. But you people out there don't. Yeah. You have to have a really good idea, like me and Matt first.
Well, I don't even know if we have good ideas. I'm actually a little nervous because I was actually reading some articles. I was doing some research on podcasting.
Yes.
And it said that podcasts are new. People like turn to their podcasters as like spiritual gurus almost, and they follow them. Which I think we just need to make a disclaimer before we start. Definitely don't listen to anything. Pretty much, I'd say 95% of what we're talking about is probably not something you should do at home.
Yeah, you can follow us. You can turn over things legally to me and Matt. We can be trusted, but other podcasters are pretty shady.
Yeah. We're going to try to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah, I know Tim Raymond and Carl. Maybe you shouldn't trust them as much as, say, me and Matt.
I don't know. We'll leave it up to the audience.
Yeah, the audience.
We're not telling them what to do.
No.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, do whatever. Maybe you have like a spiritual thing that helps you figure things out.
Yeah, just definitely don't probably listen to anything we're talking about on here. Yeah. I'm not your number one option of pretty much anything we talk about. But we don't even know what we're going to talk about. We're just that's why the theme song I thought would be good.
We're like skipping stones in the pool of ideas.
Yeah, we're just incoherently going wherever our brains tell us to.
Making ripples of thought.
Ripples.
You know, that we can think about.
Yes.
So Matt, tell me a little about yourself. Now, you are actually living the life. Living the way a lot of guys secretly think to do is living in a vehicle.
Yes, I do. I think that's probably something we should be transparent, and our viewers out there, they should probably know that, because that's just something they should know if they're going to take my advice.
Yeah.
So yes, I like to use the term. I think there's some terms like van dwellers, but I prefer vanner and vanning.
Yeah.
I guess vanner would be the noun of what I actually am. I identify as a vanner.
Yeah.
And then the actual art or act of being in a van is called vanning.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You're out there, and you can move.
I'm out there.
Yeah.
I call it, when people think of vanning, I think they think of like, oh, bohemian lifestyle, traveling the country, no thoughts or cares. But I've developed a new science called place-based vanning, where you just kind of putz around in one place. You don't actually stray too far from your home base, which I guess for me would be Buffalo.
Oh, that's good.
So it's kind of place-based vanning, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. But there's definitely lots of trials and tribulations. It's definitely you look on Instagram and YouTube and the people on there, they're very fake. They make it seem very sexy and very look at me, look how awesome I am. And it's like, no, that's not. It's not what vanning's about.
Do you have any like stories that are like of tales of caution to a vanner?
Well, I think probably I've had 3 run-ins with authority figures.
Okay.
So I think as I've evolved as a vanner, I've kind of come up with the science of being able to evade and be sneaky and not get parked. But I've had one time I was parked in a church parking lot.
Okay.
Just staying overnight, Yeah.
And
I got a knock on my van probably at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then they came and they said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was kind of groggy. I just go, "I'm just sleeping. I'm just trying to sleep, not breaking any laws." And then they're like, "Oh, got to run your ID," and they got me out. And you could just tell they were very confused. Then if they ran my ID, they were scanning it to make sure I'm not a criminal.
Yeah.
But then you could tell the one vanner or the cop, he's looking in the window, and you could kind of tell he thought it was cool, but he's not technically allowed to say.
Yeah. Is there like maybe a routine that you should follow if you're a vanner and you have to talk to the police, a way to explain yourself?
So one time I just stayed in my van and pretended like I didn't hear them.
Oh.
Which, I don't know. I did work. They went away, and then as soon as they went away, I drove away.
Oh, good.
But usually I just, if you're not doing anything illegal or bad, just say, get out of your van. And a lot of times the cops are they're more taken aback because it's when they go about their routine, they don't really encounter that. So they're kind of, you can tell they're taken aback. So I just say, hey, I'm sleepy half the time. I'm literally half conscious.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Now, I can imagine you could get in trouble if maybe you had a little beer. Could you, if you had say you drink some beers in your van or something? Could you get in trouble?
I guess I feel like you can pretty much get in trouble for anything. So I guess there's probably some mundane law on the record book because I don't think. Yeah, probably because they'd probably say you have an open container in a vehicle.
Yeah, they might.
But I don't know.
Now I myself, one thing I do is I do not pay for garbage service.
I do not either.
I do not. What I do.
Wow, we have this. I didn't.
Yes.
You've known my uncle my whole life. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because basically, I'm like, why be a sucker and pay for garbage? What I do is I make a very small amount of garbage every week, and I pack it all into a little, cram it into this little basically a beer case.
Okay.
And all my garbage I throw in there, my coffee rinds, my other stuff. I just jam it in there, and then I'll be driving around. Behind Tops is a great place.
Actually, I've done this before too. You got to find a spare dumpster. I have my dumpsters that I have small bags of garbage because obviously there's no system, but I just kind of I have my dumpsters and I just casual walk by, toss in the dumpster.
Yeah.
And you're on your way.
Yeah, I try to do it where you're not completely out in the open. Where people can if there's nobody else around and somebody sees you drive back behind a school that's closed.
Sketchy. Very sketchy.
Once a police guy is like, "What are you doing?" And I just threw out my garbage. I told it was a one-time deal. I just did it one time.
Just one time.
And, he doesn't know. But I try to just do it a lot of times I do it. It's location. You got to find a good location where people aren't.
It's got to be discreet.
Yeah, can't notice it, but it's it's a great way to get rid of your garbage and help the environment.
It's free. Yeah, and it's low cost.
It's low cost.
Yeah. I think one thing I also do is I've been a lot of questions I get is, how do you where do you shower? And I'm just blessed. I have a gym at my work building that I'm just able to go in there, and I don't know what I would do without that. I've just been really blessed, I guess, as a vanner to have a shower there, and then. Yeah, so it's good. It's important to be cleanly, especially when you're taking a place-based vanning strategy. You have to present yourself very clean. Otherwise, your coworkers
get a wrong idea.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's things like that skit from that Saturday Night Skit? Does that hurt you?
The Matt Foley.
Yeah.
No, he's actually kind of one of my inspirations. I don't know.
Okay.
Anything that sheds positive light on vanning, I think.
Yeah.
Today it has a poor reputation. Kind of people think of like creeper vans or rape vans, or there's this in vanning folklore. There's the story of the creepy middle-aged white male, such as myself, that drives around and lures young children.
But you're young.
Into their van. I just don't. I mean, I like candy. I like children. I just don't lure children into my van with candy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of in folklore, but I think it's kind of, I don't know. People don't. Yeah. They don't really know. It's just kind of, that's pretty ignorant for them to just think that. But actually,
But the cool thing is too, you can pick up and go.
I'm mobile.
You're mobile.
Yeah, I think, especially as we move in the 21st century, the two probably most important resources are like your time and your mobility.
Yeah.
So I think the ability to just kind of pick up and go. If I wanted to quit my job and drive across the country, which I've definitely thought about working in a cubicle, I can just do that. And I think it's all uphill from now. I've been kind of researching like tiny homes. And I think right now my van's like 60 square feet. So when people are like, oh man, I could never live in a 200 square foot house, that's way too small. For me, that's like, wow, that would be heaven to have 200 square feet. That's so much space. So it's different. It's a paradigm shift. It's kind of shifted my perspective. And so I think,
that's wild. Yeah. Cool.
You're actually hopefully going to help me with my mural.
Okay, I do. Okay. People who know me, I am an artist too. I've written down some ideas, and we've gone over some ideas. For like things for, and hey, if anybody out there in the public has ideas,
I think I've updated my theme because back in the histories of vanning has a very rich history here in America. In the 70s, it was actually cool to be in a van, and there's like events with like 18,000 vans where they'd show up and just hang out. It sounds fun, but each van had like a theme. So like you might have a Western theme where like your mural is like a cowboy type mural, and your inside feels like an old Western ranch or like a castle. Yeah. Where you have knights of shiny armor painted on the side, and the inside feels like a castle. But I think as I've evolved, I think my van, since it's a 1977 Dodge van, so in the Voyager spacecraft, which was the first spacecraft to explore the exoplanets and the outer parts of the universe, launched in 1977.
I love that thing.
So I want to make it kind of Voyager themed. So you feel like you're in a spacecraft, all sorts of buzzers and lights and computing in the front, and then you get back and you feel like you're in the Voyager spacecraft.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay, okay, things are flashing through my head, like the little
thoughts and ideas.
The gold plate they had on there that Carl Sagan insisted on putting on there.
The gold plate.
Yeah,
the golden record.
Yeah, which probably by today's standards didn't have a lot of stuff on there, but all the little images and the pictures of Jupiter.
Yeah, they would just humans had never seen these planets. Yeah. This thing's just going. Yeah. Just this, and I watched a documentary about it, like how it was. It's not that. It sounds pretty hard, like to just send a spacecraft out in the universe, and your physics and your math and all that type of your numbers have to be good, and just send it out into the universe.
I remember that.
I don't. You lived during this.
I lived it. I remember like seeing a school where they started like getting pictures of the moons, which were cool. Yeah. Little moons. Like, and one of the moon was like they were like, oh, is there a moon behind that moon? And there wasn't a moon behind it. It was a giant volcano on this. Yeah,
there's like volcanoes, or like Jupiter has a moon that has like water.
There's Io has volcanoes. It's getting there's one with water. There's Io, Callisto, Ganymede,
Europa,
and Europa, and the Galilean satellites.
Yeah, and they just named it whatever came to their head at that point in time.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with Jupiter. Those could have been, I think, the lovers of Jupiter, which is Greek Zeus, I think.
Yeah, the Greek gods.
Yeah, they were like, because that's all. They had a fun time. They were always like turning into stuff, and it's the whole Greek gods and stuff.
So, I just have a question. What was it like when they announced it on the news? Like, was it like, oh, you're watching TV, and like, oh, breaking news. There's water on a moon in Jupiter. Well, back to your programming. Like, what was that like?
The big thing was PBS. They didn't really have. They hit it on the nightly news. PBS covered it like 24/7. I remember, and thank God, Grandma and Grandpa were into science. Yeah, and they got us into science. And I remember that you were sitting there watching NASA, and you would watch these things scroll slowly, real slow, like different images. And but I remember, over time, like at first it'd be like, oh, there's Jupiter. They're getting closer to it, closer to it, closer to it. Then they'd get close to a moon, and it would get closer. And they're like, oh, we're going to see Io,
And they had no idea what they were going to see. They could have just seen a bunch of aliens just hanging out. They would have had no idea.
Well, there's some fascinating, fiction about that.
Yeah.
Where they, I recommend if people out there 2001: A Space Odyssey. But it's really trippy. You got to kind of read the book first. But they go there. They go to Jupiter, and there's this monolith, and the monolith informs them. But aliens. I'm crossing my. We could talk more about aliens when we invite John Tucker on.
Yeah, I think that's.
Are they out there
for our show? Yeah,
for one of our shows. Yeah.
Because I just started getting into kind of the science. Like, why don't they teach you that stuff in school? Like, all this kind of astrophysics. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. They didn't in our school. They didn't teach us.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't on the curriculum book.
Yeah, but I learned a lot from watching PBS and from my father. It was like, did you know that? He'd sit there and it's like, did you know that space? That there's these space. It's light years across, and the galaxy is so huge. He used to, he's good at that. But
yeah, I think definitely having John Tucker, who for our viewers that don't know, he's my cousin.
He's my nephew, and and he's an astrophysicist, and he's studying novas.
Yeah, not supernovas, from my understanding. My very low level of understanding.
He'll explain it to us. But when the stars explode and create all this material that makes up the universe.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, because that's where we come from. We are stardust. We are glory. That's because everything here, this aluminum that somebody brought in, these beer cans. No, we're drinking beer. But it came from the stuff of stars that's floating around, like aluminum.
Elements.
Copper.
Letters.
All the elements. Letters too.
2 letters.
Probably different letters for
PB is lead. AU is gold.
Yeah.
Just these 2 letters, they just make up everything.
Yeah, and they just all came out. But so
that's a topic. But what's your vision for this podcast? Obviously, you're like an artist. For everyone that doesn't know, you're very very creative artist.
Very creative. Basic, and I need art. People, I kind of need to do it. And before I really became active as an artist, I was kind of a daydreamer.
Yeah.
I went to school. I was constantly daydreaming, and I was a very unfocused person. More so. Imagine me.
Boy.
Talk to Diane. This is very. Your mom.
Yeah, my mom. My mother.
I was more.
I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Art. Well, we don't swear so much.
Yeah. But I don't think when I was telling the story about cops knocking on my van, that's not something I tell my mom.
Oh, yeah. You want to keep certain things. Oh, yeah. You ask your mom stories about
I'll just tell her to fast forward to a certain point in the podcast.
Yeah. But you can handle yourself with the police.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But enough about that.
Yeah, enough about that. Yeah. Well, but what we could do is we could bring in different guests. We could bring in a lawyer.
Just people we think are interesting and people we don't think are interesting. Just talk to them.
Yeah, because we know all sorts of different characters around town.
I'd say we have some pretty eccentric friends.
Yeah. And we get into subject matter. I want to talk to different people about their ideas about conspiracies.
Ooh, conspiracies.
Whether I share them or not. Now, I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm more in knocking the tinfoil hats off.
More establishment view.
Yeah. But that's an interesting thing in itself too.
Like the JFK assassination.
You know what? When I was young, I totally bought into it. Grandma bought into it.
Did Grandma buy into it?
Yeah.
That it was a conspiracy, or that it was actually some dude?
It was a conspiracy, dude. Yeah. And actually, I totally bought it, but over the years, as I hear different things, I'm like, wait a minute. Because we watch all these documentaries where they go, look at this and look at that, and they do the magic bullet thing. You ever see that?
No, I haven't.
Well, anyway, there's this they show this. Look at the pathway of the magic bullet, and it seems so absurd in the documentaries that where they would show this bullet curving through the air. Now our listeners know what I'm talking about because they've seen it. Now they explained it, how that could happen. It's through forensics that how bullets move, basically it went through one person, then it went through another person, and then they were all at angles and stuff. So it kind of whereas the documentaries I originally saw never went through any of that. They just kind of had this they would just have this like, oh my god, and the authorities said the bullet made this weird curvy trajectory where they kind of misrepresent. But I like to talk to a conspiracy guy.
Yeah, or a scientist.
A scientist, yeah. But it's another now. I think it's better to maybe get that stuff out here than like I've done it on have Facebook rants with people.
Yeah,
yeah.
Facebook rants aren't productive. It'd be better to rant on a podcast and then publish it on the internet.
Yeah, I've gotten into those, and it's not
productive.
It's not productive. It drives me nuts.
Yeah,
it's
not. You need a good rant. It's good to rant every once in a while.
Yeah, it is. Yes, rant.
Yeah, I think I've never really viewed myself as artistic, but I feel like, especially now that I'm in the real world and working in a cubicle, I don't know, just being trapped in a cubicle all day, you just feel the need. I really feel the need to express myself.
Yes,
just inject creativity, especially when you're in a bureaucracy and there's all sorts of jams and it's just kind of slow and you don't have any creative say. You just I want to express myself in my work. And you're just not allowed to.
You're not allowed to. That'll get you fired. Ask your mother about that. More about me.
Fired?
I'm sorry. I could have to. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. We can talk about that later.
But you need a creative outlet. So thank you so much for getting the ball rolling on this. Because even last week when we sat down with Kenny and he just started, he started a show and he's like shaking that thing, making that sound.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this is just fun. Even if no one listens, like this will just be fun to just once a week just talk into.
Yeah.
And we can rant and vent and put our creative energies into a podcast.
Yeah. But Kenny's a great podcaster.
He's a veteran. I hope he mentors us.
But hopefully he could mentor us. From in podcasting, he had a lot of good ideas. Kenny's a good friend of mine. I met him years ago. I was rolling with a gang of guys called the Knights.
The Knights, oh.
The Knights, and he was with this gang called the Warlocks. This was back in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And, I had to go down the east side and do some business.
The Knights versus the Warlocks?
We went down there, and, I had to make a deal. And, my one Knight buddy of mine starts going, Nate! And I'm like, shut up, dude.
What does that sound?
Nate! And I'm like, shut up, dude. Shut up. And the Warlocks, they start looking at each other. All they hear is some white guy going, no. And I'm like, shut up.
Probably crapped their pants. I've never encountered a white guy making this sound before.
And I'm like, shut up, guys. And you could see all Kenny's friends were getting really upset. These were guys. I don't know if you ever saw the Warriors.
No, I've never.
It's a great thing. They're all dressed up. Man, back then, they had big, giant hair. And, the style of dress with, tight leather and stuff. And all the guys go, nay, well, the Knights that say nay. And I'm like, oh, God. So Kenny comes up. He goes, you better shut your boy up. And I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. And Kenny, he was dressed, in the 70s.
Yeah.
He had, what do you call, what was it, like an Indian garb almost? With you got
moccasins? He's wearing moccasins?
Well, I want the viewers to go on your computer and look up the Warriors. Look at how they were dressed. He was just dressed just like that. With a big fro, but with his camera that he always carries around with him. And also, back then, me and him were both heavily muscled.
Google it. They look pretty scary.
We were both heavily muscled. We had, bodies, chiseled by...
Chiseled bodies.
Chiseled through action, right? So, I'm, trying to...
Kenny was wearing one of these vests? These ridiculous leather vests?
With the African, with the, there's wampum kind of thing. But, yeah. And so, anyway...
Did he have an afro?
He had a huge afro.
Oh, wow.
Huge afro. He's like, yeah, man, you better stop. And it's like, okay, calm down. All of a sudden, I got hit with, a bat.
Oh.
But it wasn't a bat. It was his leg. He had done a...
Kenny?
Kenny had jumped up and did a spinning kick.
Did he do a karate style?
Karate style.
Oh, wow.
Jump up, kick right upside my head. Now,
Bam.
I go back and I
thwack.
But I just go. I go into, of course, tiger stance because
Yeah, that's obviously the natural position when you're being attacked.
My old kung fu style.
Kung fu.
Now he has kind of like a an African style kung fu where it's with a Brazilian kicking style.
Oh, was it capoeira? Was he doing Brazilian capoeira?
Capoeira, but with more of an African in it.
Oh, so more Angola style.
And so all the guys start going, and they start, clashing their shields.
They had shields?
They had shields, yeah. A lot of them had shields back then. Well, that's a weird thing. Did they have shields or didn't they have shields? Because at a certain time, we got into battle fury.
Yeah.
So it was all kicks and fists, like this, slapping, body slapping, just like, we both had, like,
combat
bodies, and we were, like bouncing off of, walls and stuff and using objects, throwing them at each other, as you do. But, and then what happened, one of the funny things that happened is the gateway of heroes opens up.
Heroes.
And
Somebody's got to be hero.
You could hear like swords and shields, and the guys are go.
Is anyone riding a horse?
In the distance, because it was you could see the hallway of heroes open up as we were fighting. So we fought around Buffalo.
Huh.
They happened to be making the city hall at the time, and they had a bunch of steel. So we were fighting up, going up ladders and stuff, and throwing steel beams at each other, as you do. And I got Kenny really good. I poured some molten steel on him, and I was like, "Take that, you son of a bitch!"
Hey, my mom's listening.
Oh, sorry. I didn't say it. Yeah. So molten steel went all over him. I was like, "That's it." And then I could see him. Like, from underneath it, he just flexes his muscles, and all the steel just bursts out of him. He's like, "You ain't beat me yet." So, and then we kept fighting. And then we got to the very top of the, and I think it was thundering at the time, too, of City Hall.
City Hall.
Of City Hall. And then we heard, like, "My girlfriend, she got eaten by a lion." And we're like, "Oh, what? We got eaten by a lion?" And we were real fighting. Like, what? We look at each other. What? A lion? And I said, "Well, hopefully we can try to help you, ma'am." So we went down there. We went and I grabbed the lion. I opened up its mouth, and Kenny reached his hand down the lion's throat and pulled out a woman.
A woman from the lion's mouth.
From the lion's mouth. And then Kenny looks at me and goes, "Looks like we have us a pussy problem." And then we go, "Oh, looks like this lion just wants to be friends." And everybody started laughing.
Wow.
So that's how me and Kenny met.
That's like the ultimate form of conflict resolution.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys went from just fighting
Fighting
each other.
And in a mad kind of
way to then saving a young woman's life.
Yeah,
your hero. It's the ultimate hero story.
From the lion's mouth.
From the jaws of a lion.
But that was the 70s back then. It was crazy.
Seems like it was cooler back then. I really don't like growing up now.
Yeah. Well, I think there was more lead. I heard this theory that there was more lead in the air.
Oh, definitely. They didn't ban lead paint till 1978.
And because of exhaust, and people were more violent. People were, I think I remember, there was a lot more violence. Like
now people just get in Facebook rants.
Yeah,
they don't actually bring it to physical combat.
Yeah, we're kind of whiny and mean.
They're just really whiny.
Yeah.
We don't really have much to complain about. I think it's human nature. We just like complaining about things.
We're very good at it. We're complete, but I think in the 70s things were like more creepy. It was more like, that's probably where the vans got the bad.
Yeah, I know my van gets 12 miles to the gallon.
Oh.
It was in 77, which it's
Yeah.
It's probably about the only way that I'm not more environmentally sustainable, but it's a trade-off. But yeah, they didn't. Lead paint wasn't banned till 78, and now young kids, they eat lead paint chips, and they get brain poison, and then they don't do good in school.
Yeah. But it was the crazy stuff. Yeah. But but the 70s, I kind of grew up when the 70s were actually dying out, and the 80s began.
Oh, you grew up like in the worst time ever.
Bingo.
At least from my perspective. I was born in 1990.
Okay, yeah.
So I like my age because it's like, I remember life before the internet somehow.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
That's good.
I can already say I remember life before the internet. Like when I'm 80 years old, if I have grandkids, and I said, hey, I was born before the internet, they're just going to look at me like, you are Freaking old.
But you remember like pre 9/11? Do you think things were different?
Yeah, I was in 6th grade. I remember it happening, but I obviously wasn't old enough to really comprehend. But I didn't realize how big of an impact it would have on the world. But now you try going through an airport system in the U.S. and there's so much. So it's pretty crazy times. Now with the internet, like I feel like the internet's just. I feel like now we're kind of in a bad area because we just have so many legacy systems. Like there's so many things that are just so inefficient because they haven't fully adapted the internet technology.
Yeah. And
It's just so it's maybe in 100 years, like when they've adopted the internet, like life will be a lot better. But right now there's just so much stuff that's just so inefficient.
It is. People are tribalizing in different ways. I know. Actually, I'm in a weird information bubble as I get all my news from. Well, it's weird. I'm getting fed in my own. I'm in my own internet bubble.
Yeah, it's like we have these tools, but we haven't. Like it's pretty powerful. You can filter your content, so you can control what you have access to all this type of information. But you have to be really disciplined about kind of what information you take in.
And also, even too, it's done even without you knowing it.
Yeah, they're like manipulating.
I get things thrown at me that I've chosen before.
Yeah, they use like big data and analytics to say, oh, you liked this cat video.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna like this dog video too.
Yeah.
I hope that's one of the things maybe to our show we can bring is like our different generational perspectives. Like you're born in the 70s.
Yeah.
Or no, you're born in the 60s, but you grew up in the 70s, 80s, where I was born in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I think that's when we were talking earlier how it's kind of we're gonna be like a yin and yang. Like you'll bring the art, I'll bring the science. You bring the generation. X?
I guess we were called Generation X.
I feel like they just forgot to name your generation.
And bingo. And we didn't even know what to call ourselves.
X.
Yeah, we were morons. I guess. Yeah, I remember like a girlfriend of mine saying, not an actual girlfriend, friend who was a friend. She said, "Yeah, I guess we're Generation X." I'm like, "Oh, is that what they call us?"
Yeah, they just ran out. I feel like you only have so much time before they just start talking about the next generation. So if you don't come up with a name during that window, just X. Can't really think of any. There's no distinct factor.
Yeah, we're the sweaty Furbies. Or like, how did we get stuck with that?
Well, now and then the next generation, because my sister, she's a couple years younger than me. She's like the tail end of the millennials. But the next generation, like, I guess my generation had helicopter parents, but this next generation, they're called lawnmower parents because whereas our parents would helicopter over us while we're doing things. These parents just they lawnmower everything out of the way, so their kids face no problems. And they just go through life, and they're lawnmower parents. So
do you feel like you maybe missed out on something, like being from that generation, like you were maybe helicoptered a little bit more?
I don't know. I just feel like growing up where we did, I grew up in the suburbs, and it's kind of a really I don't know. It's like stripped of culture, and there's just really you grow up in these suburban houses, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Our generation. I'm never gonna toot the horn of my generation, and if you ever meet somebody my age starting to talk crap to you, just tell them go to hell.
I don't know. I mean, there's obviously I think pros and cons to my generation, but I think each has its plus.
Yeah.
But we're just so frustrated. It's like, these damn people, they above us in the organizational chart, they don't know how to use Microsoft PowerPoint. And it's just like, my friend, she graduated from grad school, and her first job, she's like on the front lines, entry level, and her boss, who's making like 6 figures, comes to her and says, "Hey, can you make me a PowerPoint? I drew these boxes on a piece of paper. This is the words I wanted." And it's just like, for us, it's like, you can't even use PowerPoint? Yeah. That's not even a technological skill. That's like something just everyone can do.
I can't.
And then this guy makes 5 times. I mean, he knows the law and like legal stuff like the back of his hand, but like you don't know how to use PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's funny. I can't use. I should.
See, for us, it's just like it's like, how do these people not know how to use PowerPoint?
I can use Photoshop. I could craft. I could do.
See, Photoshop. That's like an advanced skill.
Yeah.
That's as long as you know some sort of software program.
Yeah, that's my. I suppose. I bet I could learn PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's not that. It's just you don't. Do you ever give PowerPoint presentations in your life?
Maybe I should start doing it.
Maybe you should. You could make cover art for PowerPoints.
Little pictures of things and, little cartoon things. And say, see this cartoon? Because
people can use PowerPoint, but they don't know how to best use it. So they'll, like, jam, like, 30 words under one bullet point. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you have to be very short and concise, but some people, they just kind of, they use it and they're like, oh, I know how to use PowerPoint. They put stuff there, but actually mastering the software takes a little bit of humility and ability to use it. So
I could make little quick fixes on things.
You know PowerPoint though. If any millennial starts making fun of you, just say, hey, I know how to use Photoshop.
Okay.
If they make fun of you for your computer skills, just say, I know Photoshop, and they'll instantly gain their respect, because that's like, okay,
good.
you have this competency. I respect you. You might not know how to use PowerPoint, but you can use Photoshop.
I can use Photoshop. Really good too. I could be like
making stuff.
Which
brings me to my friend. I was telling them that I'm making a podcast, and she has access to a button machine. So those little election buttons? She has a machine at her work that she can make them.
Oh.
So I was like, hey, we can make buttons for our podcast.
We could.
You could make something on Photoshop.
Photoshop. As a matter of fact,
our faces. You could put our faces on buttons and give them to people.
I made a banner that I think I'm going to give our buddy Richard Wicca for when we start expanding.
Yeah, banners.
A banner, like a little banner. Well, a banner for like a computer thing. You know what I mean? For a little.
Like a HTML code.
Bingo. Yeah, that thing you said.
Yeah.
That thing. But I made them.
Hey, we can make a website.
That's right.
I was actually blown away when people were saying, I was like, hey, I'm starting a podcast. People were like, oh, I can't wait to listen. Like, oh, I'll listen to it. It's like, wow. People would actually listen? Like, that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow, people will actually listen to us. Maybe not after the first show, but at least for one show, they'll open the link.
They'll get hooked. They're going to be like, whoa, wait, what is this? Because I got turned on to podcasts. They're great.
Yeah.
I mean, because I used to listen to like talk radio or whatever. But with podcasts, you can choose. Like, I want to listen to my buddies, Matt and John today.
Yeah.
For half an hour, you could go and we're going to have fascinating subjects.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was trying to write down what are our viewers? I'm calling them viewers very intentionally because I was thinking. We actually said the other day on Kenny's podcast, but I was like, what if there's aliens or intelligent life? They can take our radio waves and then turn it into images and video clips. We wouldn't want to discriminate against them. So if we call them our viewers, it's much more inclusive.
Most of the people are looking at stuff right now.
Yeah. Maybe we're painting images in their head.
Yeah. They have
poop. You can't tell me all of our listeners a piece of poop didn't just pop into their head right now.
Yeah.
We're painting mental pictures.
That's right. Yeah. So right now they're listening to.
I can say anything.
You could.
And they'll think about it.
And you could paint a picture.
That's power. That's power right there.
That's right. Power. We have to use it wisely. Power.
We do.
Yeah, we can't say, "Hey, you guys," like the song at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Take the gun.
That was a very good, by the way. Too.
Yeah. Thank you. Remember that, folks. Yeah. Take the gun out of your mouth.
You
spit out.
You crafted that.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't open up your veins. Open up your mind.
Open our minds. Yeah. So I crafted this as our mission statement.
Okay.
You know how Richard, he's like, hey, come up with something quickly. So I haven't told you this, John.
Okay.
So I'm announcing this to the world. This is what I think. It's like a catchy. It kind of sums up what our podcast will be about, but it'll get people interested. So this is like our mission. Will be on our website. I don't know what you thought, but here it goes. Curiosity killed the cat, but it hasn't gotten Matt and John yet. Join this eccentric uncle-nephew duo as they explore and discover big ideas throughout the universe.
Ooh, that's right.
Is that good?
Yeah, that is good. Yeah. Yeah, because we discover different. Yeah.
We're exploring. We're discovering.
Yeah, get on board with us. Get on our ship as we go out there into this ocean of ideas.
On a journey of knowledge. We're exploring for knowledge. When we have guests, we want to extract the knowledge from their brains and then embed it into the radio waves.
Yeah.
For our viewers.
Yeah, that's right. For the viewers, yeah.
To know.
That's right.
So I was debating between eccentric. I was initially saying dynamic, but I thought dynamic. I don't know if we're dynamic, at least not yet. But eccentric, I think we're pretty eccentric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dynamic. So I was wordsmithing it, but I think that's kind of catchy.
Yeah, we're pod crafters.
Pod crafters, not podcasters.
Pod crafters, like we have
This is art. We're making our art.
We're sculpting ideas and thoughts that we'll put out to the viewer out there.
The viewer.
I know they're looking at something.
They're looking at something. They could look at anything.
Maybe they're looking at their wall. They're looking at their cat.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, they're looking at you're looking at some crime you've committed, maybe. You know,
Poop?
Poop.
Maybe they just thought of poop.
I hope you're not looking at poop. Okay, don't look at
Maybe
poop.
they are. There's got to be at least one viewer that's just.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, because we've all done it.
Yeah, we all do it.
We're
all
on
do
the
it.
phone. We're talking to our buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we view it. We're crafters because I think this first episode, I think it's going decently well. But like, look, if we do this for another 5 years, we'll probably look back and be like, wow, that first show sucked. Like we didn't know what we were doing, but.
Yeah.
You try and you get up and you do it again and you get better. So I think it's only uphill from here.
Yeah,
so even if you think this show is subpar, imagine what our second show will be like.
Yeah, it'll be par.
Especially when we have guests.
So yeah, again, like there's some empty seats right here. We're looking at.
There's 3 empty seats right at this table.
We're gonna be filling them up with guys with fancy hats.
Ooh,
you know,
I'm excited for that episode.
Yeah, ladies, all sorts of ladies. Astronauts.
Yeah, if you want to be on our show, just say, hey, I want to be on your show, and we can schedule time for that.
And you could go to Facebook, contact us through Facebook. Is that good for you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, me Facebook. You become my Facebook friend. I'm like, oh, okay.
Even some people, I was telling them, they're like, oh, I'm not interesting. I couldn't be on your show. But then you start talking to them, they have stories. They have everybody's interesting, even if you're not really interesting.
Yeah,
even if you're dull and your life sucks and you're pretty bland.
Yeah. They probably
That'd be something. Just the fact that you're dull and you suck, your life sucks, that makes you interesting just by itself.
Yes. Whose fault is it?
How did you get this way?
Was it society? Can we get back at society somehow?
Or even ranting. Everybody wants to rant about something.
Yeah, rant.
Whether it's their job. People love ranting about their jobs.
Well, I'd say be
Or just
cautious
life in
about
general.
that. Yeah, I want to rant about workplace situations. Yeah, you do. Yeah. But, hey, fault. Yeah, it's a whole
The system.
The system. Yeah,
Rant about the system.
The system, the society, how folks process things, how
People.
things are
There's
there.
a lot to rant about with just people in general. Not any specific person, although you could, but just people in general.
Yeah, I have to say the pets are doing okay.
Pets are fine.
I don't have a rant against them. It's not like, oh, those pets.
Some pets though.
Yeah, some pets. Yeah, I don't
Some
like
pets.
I don't like puffer fish. You go to grab them.
puffer fish.
Oh, they get bigger and bigger now. Your hands, yeah, those guys I don't like. My cat likes to bite me. It's not too cool.
It's not cool.
No, it isn't cool at all. But yeah, so we can talk to inventors.
Inventors.
Or we can also bring up subjects.
Subject matter. What type of
matter.
subjects? Like people here on our show.
Okay, the Manichaeans.
The Manichaeans?
The Manichaeans. They were a religion that almost replaced Christianity in the 2nd century. St. Augustus was a Manichaean. Manichaean was a cool, they took a little bit of Buddhism, a little bit of Christianity, and they kind of bumped them together. And during the 2nd century, it almost became, it was just a fascinating religion to just talk about. We could talk about the Donner Party.
Yeah.
Talk about.
Well, maybe if people are viewing podcasting as a new religion, we could make our own religion.
We could make our own religion.
I feel like if you just took the best from all the religions and put it together, that'd be a pretty great religion. Just ignore kind of the bad stuff about each of them. And just took the good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I like. Manichaean. It really went. It was an early religion to do that. Now there's a lot of hippies doing that right now.
Hippies aren't always bad.
Or people who are just. Yeah, and this
So
idea
cool.
Buddhism, and we put it together.
Ugh.
Leader came up with that. So yeah, you can take them all, mush them together.
Yeah, hippies are good, but then when they become kind of arrogant, snobby about it.
Then there's a backlash against.
Yeah, you can't go too far.
I've
Buddha said, the middle way.
Yeah.
How can you take the best of being a hippie and channel that into your life, but don't go too far?
Yeah, and then there's a big backlash against the hippies. It's still going on today, which. Honestly, hippies were right about a lot of stuff. They were annoying.
Oh, I can imagine they were probably really annoying. But they're probably right about a lot of stuff.
I think they were right about a lot.
Imagine they were growing up in the 50s.
Yeah.
That sounds like a miserable time.
Yeah. With the
growing up in the 50s and
bringing Howdy Doody. That was the only entertaining thing.
Talking all nice and proper.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Everybody had the same haircut.
Same haircut.
No style at all.
I think
just button-down shirt, go to work.
You drink a martini or something, but it would stink if you were a lady.
Yeah, and you could be really smart or have these ideas. Just work at home.
Yeah.
Just stay at home and cook.
Yeah, cook and do
Raise your 6.5 children.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Well, yeah.
Don't have any dreams or aspirations for your life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it was tough for the ladies back then. It's still tough for the ladies.
It is still tough.
That's why we should bring some of these ladies in and
Yeah.
talk to them about.
Because I was writing up a SWOT analysis of our show for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I was thinking, strengths, like we're both somewhat creative, like
Yeah.
art and science, big ideas.
Yeah.
And then weaknesses, I was like, we're just two white dudes.
That's right.
Nobody wants to hear the white dude perspective right now.
Yeah, because what about cool white dudes? We're cool white dudes. We're not whining.
White dudes that call themselves cool definitely aren't cool.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay. So we're talking about we're working through that. We're working.
We might think we're cool, but we don't openly state that we think we're cool, because then that's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But I am not like some Caucasian friends of mine.
Typical white dude.
Yeah, thinking that
Because we all know about the typical white dude. Nobody likes the typical white dude.
Oh well, yeah. We're
Maybe some people do.
Yeah, we're the cool guys. Anyway. Yeah.
I don't find myself friends with a lot of typical white dudes. It's not people like.
Yeah.
Nothing about against white dudes, but the typical white dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
I don't know, but yeah, we need more different, varying perspectives. We value diversity and different ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
In perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. So we gotta get some of those other folks in here to say, hey, look at this.
Hey,
I'm not wearing a hat today. I don't have to do that stuff.
Huh.
I'm gonna walk around, with my hands in the air all the time.
Yeah, well, we could talk about even just innovation. I know within our family, I'm trying to innovate just the wave.
That's right.
So we pivot a wave from the elbow.
Yeah,
But why?
audience. My nephew for years has been working on different waves
Different waves.
to do it, and I for one try to mimic them.
Yeah. So you pivot from the shoulder joint, or from the wrist,
Man is saying hi,
or different directions. Why go left to right, up and front, back, up and down? So I just feel like, I don't know, we don't really challenge. These are kind of things we're just handed down as a culture. Why don't we challenge? There's different ways to waves. Your shoulder joint is the most complex joint in your body. There's different ways you can move this joint. It's pretty diverse.
Yeah, it is. Shoulder joint is a great joint, by the way.
It's a great joint. Underutilized. A lot of people underutilize their shoulder joint.
Yeah, most animals can't reach over their own head. My cat is like he can stretch.
This can't even pick things up.
What? They
can't pick things up. What are you doing?
Yeah, they can't.
You didn't want hands?
Well,
like God was handing out hands, you just didn't want one. No, I'll take 4 legs.
Yeah.
You wanted 4 legs?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem very rational.
Yeah, it's just, but
we can pick things up. We're the most complex movers.
Yeah,
we can do anything. We're not actually good at anything. We're not very strong or fast.
Yeah.
But we can do everything. We can run. We can swim. We can jump. We can climb. We can do everything. We can stand on our heads if we want.
Yeah. What animal does that?
None.
None of them. None of them stand on their heads. Yeah, none of them.
We're the most complex movers. Nobody else can do what we do.
Yeah.
We're generalists.
Yeah, you can dance. Yeah. See, like dancers dance around her.
We can dance. We can be acrobats.
Spinning, tumbling.
We can I was watching videos because what was his name? What's that big guy's name? The Mountain.
The Mountain.
He's from that show.
A hero guy? Hero type
No,
of
the
person?
Mountain. He's like 6'9". He's like a power. He can he can squat 1,000 pounds. Humans can squat 1,000 pounds. I can't do that, but my species can.
This is a creepy thing though. The Neanderthals could have kicked our asses.
Didn't they? They're a lot stronger than us.
That's just weird. Cause there's all such a weird thing about sapiens. Is there were different types of humans, and yeah, the Neanderthals could rip our arms off. They were like mountain gorillas. They could have. But we were like the wimpy. I think we were a little bit.
We were probably just complaining. Oh, it's so cold out.
Yeah, we were like, it's
cold. I need a jacket.
It's cold. Yeah, but we didn't have a jacket. I think they didn't even have jackets to the Neanderthal.
And the Neanderthal was like, hey, I'm just chilling.
Yeah,
I got a loincloth on. That's all I need.
Yeah.
It's -30 out, but I'm fine.
I don't know how that worked out. How did we beat those guys? Because,
I don't know.
Neanderthals.
We could ask a geneticist on our show.
A
geneticist.
When we get them on, yeah.
How did that happen? It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
But we're not. I think we're just so brutal. We're just so violent. They're probably like all welcoming. We're just kill everything.
Yeah. I wonder what the whole deal was, or like, if they were gentle or anything.
Or we might not have even known there was any difference in just interbred with them and then just kind of became
Bingo.
humans.
Or disease.
Disease. We just have lots of diseases.
One thing about, say, I know when Native Americans, and that's a big thing a lot of people forget about Native Americans. We hit them with all our diseases all at once.
We were just so dirty.
Yeah, and they were like the middle.
Clean.
Bubonic plague was bad for us.
That's pretty bad.
But imagine if we would have gotten 10 other diseases at the same time, Europeans. There'd be like...
They're probably fine. I feel like the average European probably just is balancing and juggling 5 different diseases at once.
Yeah, but back in... Yeah, but it's crazy. I mean,
Back in the day,
Back in the day, we would have been wiped out by the poor Native Americans that are sitting there. So the Native Americans were really not a big challenge when the Europeans came in here with their, with their stupid hats and their
metal in their armor
Metal
and
in-
just
yeah.
diseases
We
and
have
just
metal armor
lust for gold.
gold lust.
Just no empathy for other human beings.
No empathy. Yeah, just the whole. So the whole night, yes, they were sick. They're like, can you come back later? It's cold. Oh, jeez. And then but disease resistance. So, so yeah. So
So I think our viewers, if you're not excited already, we just kind of showed people the tip of the iceberg.
this is just the beginning, guys.
Also, this show had absolutely no plans. We're just talking.
Imagine that.
We're just going on a journey
Yeah.
through the space-time continuum, but
Yeah.
in our minds.
In our minds, yeah, we're going there. We're
Just drifting wherever we have no plans or thoughts.
yeah. Here I have a blank sheet in front of me with nothing written on it. It
We
says,
can draw things. The best is we can draw things, and our viewers can't see unless they're
Yeah.
artificial intelligence, just sort of intelligent life form that can pick
Yeah,
up on
I'm drawing a picture right now, viewers, of you guys writing down our show and putting it in your little computer thing so you can listen to us as we come on from month to month or week to week or whatever we're doing. And
Who is it? This is something I was thinking about. Is I've been doing some research on podcasts, and they all say, when you're starting out, think about your 1,000 true fans, or like, what's your micro niche? Like, what are you trying to serve? Like, who is our ideal listener
okay.
or viewer if they're viewing it?
Geez.
Why would someone view our show? There's so many podcasts. Why would someone choose ours, and who are they?
Geez. Let's see. Okay, we got
Think our family first. If we can make a product that's interesting for our family,
for our family, our friends, construction workers, school kids,
people working in cubicles.
people in cubicles,
There's lots of people. That's a market we could overtake.
school
People
moms,
sitting in cubicles market.
school moms, prospectors, online predators, salesmen, but salesmen who've been pushed to the edge.
Salesmen are considering a different life direction.
Yeah,
Considering living in the van. People that are like on the edge. Hey, I have seen people living in vans. I thought it was cool. I got into it because I saw a guy who used to pitch for the Bisons, and he had a $3 million contract, but he chose to live in a van. I was like, that's cool. I want to do that too.
Oh, okay.
I did it.
Okay, I would like to live in the silos.
Yes, that'd be cool.
I met a guy, Kenny, with Kenny Morgan, who lives in the silos. The
Silo City.
He lives there.
And for our international viewers, because we have an international audience.
Oh, yeah.
The silos are these giant grain elevators.
Yes.
Because in the 1900s, Buffalo was a huge port for grain, so we just had these massive concrete structures that stored millions of tons of grain, and they're still standing.
Yeah, and they're like cathedrals of industry. They're very beautiful.
I've been said they are Buffalo's pyramids. They are our iconic structure.
Yeah.
No one else has them.
No, they don't. And they are. They're very beautiful and just. But this guy lives. He lives in there.
I think the guy.
So his name's Swanee Jim Watkins.
He lives in the silos.
Well, okay, he's a caretaker.
Oh, I want that job.
I did a whole painting. I did a painting of the guy. It's a whole him and Kenny Morgan, because they had a kind of a barbecue off.
At the silos.
At the silos, yeah. I did a painting. My buddies know about it, but I did this painting commemorating. It was almost like my and Kenny's original battle.
Like the original epoch of you and Kenny.
Yeah, as we fought in the 70s. Bare knuckle ball with just fists and arms. And
sounded pretty rugged back in the day.
We were both rugged guys. Because we were nothing muscle and sinew.
Just a ball of muscle.
Ball of muscle and just animal cunning. It just You had to be there.
I had to be there.
Yeah, you had to be there in the 70s. It was like
It's too bad. The good old days. I feel like our podcast will be telling me a lot about the good old days. Growing up before the internet.
oh boy, the days of yore. Oh,
Can we just not talk about the 80s, though? I was born in 1990. I'm not
Okay.
even curious about what happened the 10 years before I was alive.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't even want to know.
the 80s, the television was horrible.
What was the music? I don't even... Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Please don't talk about it.
Okay, yeah, I can't say any good stuff about the. I'd say no. Actually, 70s and 60s music I think was better. 80s,
I think 70s or 60s for sure.
I can't really defend that music. Yeah, so yeah, I can't defend that music. But yeah, the days of yore were, when it was an age of heroes and magic, mysticism, mysticism and science were kind of the same, back in old Buffalo,
Buffalo in the 80s.
Yeah,
Huh.
indeed. But what did I remember about? Actually, it was more depressing. Buffalo.
That was like when Buffalo was bottoming out. There's no hope.
I have
The Bills were terrible in the mid 80s.
I have a T-shirt commemorating that Buffalo used to be way more depressing. It was.
Probably definitely was.
It was. Yeah, that broken glass, the sirens in the distance. People crying out.
People was crying.
Hey, Tony! Hey,
Tony.
Tony! Yeah, people.
Oh, Tony.
A lot of people had ethnic ways of talking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, oh, what you doing? Hey, we talk like we're from New York City a lot of times.
Yeah.
We
Hey,
don't
boss.
What?
If you're in New York City, I was told by a friend, you call everybody boss, and it instantly gets respect from them.
Hey, boss.
Boss.
Okay.
Hey, boss, can I get a slice of pizza, boss?
Oh, okay.
But then when I was with my roommates and we were ordering pizza, and three of them said, "Yo, boss," like very kind of like saying, "Boss, boss, boss," and then I went up and I said, "Excuse me, boss," like in the least boss way. So it's how you say it. It's your intonation of saying. You got to say, "Boss."
Hey,
Yo,
boss.
boss.
I got to work
You
on
can't
this.
say, "Hey, excuse me, boss."
I always come off as I can't pull off the match. I try to pull off the
Yeah, it
the
doesn't
whole,
sound natural to me.
I can't do it. It's it's a whole thing. It's a gland thing. It's But like I said, back in when me and Kenny were fighting, I was a lot better at it.
Yeah.
What with the spaghetti, all the spaghetti I've been eating, and
So it looks like the clock's ticking down
We're-
on our
we're-
first podcast.
I know. Yeah.
We made it through a full hour. We rambled on for an hour incoherently.
But I think our audience.
I think
got
our viewers
fascinated.
liked it.
They liked it. Yeah. What are
I
they
hope
gonna,
so.
What are
I
they
think
gonna,
even if you think the first show sucked, it can't get any worse. So every time you will tune in, it won't be as bad as this show.
it's gonna get better
It's going to get better.
and better.
We hope.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially when you have guests. That'll be interesting.
Oh.
That's another variable in the equation.
Yeah. Probably some of them will have like funny accents. Like, hello, I'm guest on the show.
And we're going to keep our next guest under wraps, partly because we want you to tune in,
Yeah.
and also because we don't know who our next guest will be.
Yeah.
So I think I was thinking like bi-weekly maybe.
Yeah.
Every other week seems like a good pace to start.
Okay.
So yeah, look for our next podcast on Think Twice Radio. And again, thanks to Richard Wicca for having this awesome studio.
Yes.
I feel legit right now that we actually are like in a studio recording,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he just let us do it. There's no, hey, show me your resume. It was just, hey, okay, you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're interested in being in the show, just message me or John or I.
Yeah.
And yeah, and now we are going to close with our epic exit song.
Oh, okay.
So thank you from Matt and John, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Small talk.
With Matt and John, Matt and John, Matt and John. Do 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 do. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
Bye, listeners.
Okay, bye.
Till next time.
Okay, bye.